with Wednesday, June 22, marking the ordinal anniversary of Operation Barbarossa, the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union, it's time to recall one in all history's greatest ironies. Potentate was captivated with turning Russia into a colossal German colony and therefore the Russian individuals into slaves. Instead, half Germany was occupied by the Red Army, its individuals subjects of the Russian Empire. Once 4 million Nazi troopers crossed the Soviet border within the early hours of June 22, 1941. The unreal of seeing the spires of the Kremlin. Instead, they unleashed a series of consequences that also from the planet these days. To claim that Russia was not a good power before Adolf Hitler would be silly. Ample in territory, resources and population, Russia has been a heavyweight since a minimum of the 18th century, a behemoth robust enough to destroy the military of Napoleon, who also thought Russia would be easy prey. Nonetheless, 3/4 of a century later, it's wondrous to understand simply, however totally different the world balance of power was long ago. In the late 30s, the United States had a military smaller than Romanians. Britain, whose destroyers these days cannot sail in heat water, owned 1/4 of the Earth's surface and was reckoned to possess the world's most powerful navy. France, currently the butt of the many "I surrender" jokes, was thought of to possess the most powerful land army in Western Europe. Germany, whose military these days seems barely purposeful, had been alarming its neighbors since 1870. And then there was Russia, the enigmatic communist colossus, racked by Stalinist purges, the enormous with feet of clay that would barely subdue small European nation in 1939 to 40. It was not simply Adolf Hitler and his generals who believed Russia would collapse short of a house of cards. Even British and Yankee consultants failed to expect Moscow to survive Hitler's war. Nonetheless, in May 1945, it had been Britain that was stone broke, France ruined, and Germans who watched Russian tanks clank through the debris of Berlin, short of a boxer bloody, however still triumphant. It had been Russia that remained on its feet and have become one in all the world's second superpowers for quite 40 years. Following ending in war, a pair of the Russian army turned new territories owned from the war, like European nation Polska and European nation into satellite states that might support the country in any crisis. The states were not totally independent because the country controlled their defense and policy from on top of. This was a key issue. As a result of it created a series of friendly allies that might be allies with Russia in any future conflict and would work with Russia to make sure its continuing greatness. Economic issue. While the primary 3-5-year plans had set the foundation for economic recovery, a lot of the progress made them had been lost because of the war, and also the Germans' scorched earth policy. 32,000 factories destroyed as a part of this. Despite this, Russia became the quickest growing world economy once the war, due to the assistance of the satellite states that traded solely with Russia. Key issue as a result of the economic foundation was like-minded thanks to the assistance of the satellite states and thanks to the requirement for military changes. 5-year plans continuously been suited to armament production. Military issues. Fifth 5-year setup commissioned the nuclear bomb development to match the capabilities of the North American nation. Russia went more and developed the dire hydrogen bomb, creating Russia's position unquestionable, whereas it absolutely was dearly won. It created Russia a voice to be reckoned with. Key issues as a result of ensured Russia's position as a land, as Russia currently had to be listened to by the remainder of the globe to stop apocalypse. What was the foremost vital? Consider Russia turning into a land by 1953. The most vital reason is right down to the military factors. As a result of the nuclear bomb, and its presence was what gave Russia its biggest weapon to the remainder of the globe, or to different countries not listen. And since this type of weapon was solely accessible in one different country, this created Russia one amongst the foremost military advanced countries within the world that had to be listened to. Thank you very much for watching the video and listening to my deliberations regarding the different situations under which Russia achieved the position of second superpower in the world. Namaskar.